I just can't. I'm really floored that we're bringing more rule changes like this that are going to just totally change the game. You know, coaching is about being innovative to me. And when you're taking that innovativeness or innovation, whatever you want to call it, away from the coaches because you're going faster, you're trying to build a mindset like we do. We build an identity and a mindset because we want to play fast. Does it always work? No. We've been stoned. I mean, West Alabama absolutely stoned us. West Georgia stoned us. They stopped us. Okay? It happens. Oregon, everybody says they don't have an unfair advantage. Look at the Stanford game. They stopped them. Figure out how to stop people instead of saying, well, we can't stop people, so let's go change the rules. It's unfair. I want to see the facts saying it's unsafe for the players. It's the way the game's supposed to be played. Who's to say how it's supposed to be played? We feel like that's the way it's supposed to be played. It's meant to be played fast. You want to go fast. You want to do those things. And then we get these guys that are supposedly, I don't know, big wigs in college football nowadays, and they are. They're making great money. They're doing a great job. Coach your team. Don't worry about changing the rules because it seems like every year in college football we want to go back and change the rules and totally change the way the game's played by these rule changes that don't make any sense. We're going to put more pressure on the officials. What constitutes a 2-minute situation? If I'm down 21 with 5 minutes left, I don't want to wait 10 seconds to snap a football. I want to get back in the game. I want to keep going. I mean, that's the way we play anyway. Our second play of the game last year against Mississippi Valley, we ran our first play. Our second game, we snapped the ball with 34 seconds on the play clock. There was nothing illegal about it. Oklahoma, what they did in the last game in the Sugar Bowl, there was nothing illegal about what they did. They just played fast and played very, very well. Now we want to change things because a couple of guys that are defensive minded want to gripe about it and say, well, we're just going to change the rule committee. We're going to make you. Nobody's getting an unfair advantage. There are people stopping it every day. Go out and stop it. Spend your time and resources learning how to defend it. I mean, Art Briles and Baylor, they do an unbelievable job with tempo and all their formations, and it's very innovative thinking. They get stopped. Auburn gets stopped. People get stopped that are doing this. Why sit there and say, well, let's stop them with a rule change that, and then say it's for the safety of the game? I just don't agree with it. I mean, it's, who am I? I'm just, a guy who coaches. But my team, the way we want to play our game, we want to play fast. We want to go as fast as we can. Players enjoy it. Our defense enjoys it. The way we can get more done, if you go in our weight room here in a few minutes, it's going to be fast. Our meetings are fast. It's a mindset, a way we do things. It gives them more time to be a student. We don't have to go out and practice for 3 hours. We can practice an hour and 40 minutes because that's what we do on a daily basis. It gives us more time to go up on campus and be a student and get our degrees. And that's what it's all about. Our players play themselves into shape. They don't have to run themselves into shape because they practice fast. We can run more plays. So we are playing ourselves into shape. I think that's the way the game is. That's my opinion. But when we sit here and we say, well, we're going to just get on a committee, and instead of getting on a rules committee to better the integrity of the game, we get on rules committees at times to help ourselves win games. What serves me best by getting on this committee? And that's what I think's happened. It's all political. People get on these committees, and then they use those committees and their power to make it more advantageous for their situation and the way they want to play the game of football. And I don't think it's right. We've got a play clock. When we switch to that, offense is adjusted to get plays called faster. All right, you substitute on offense, no problem. Defense should be able to substitute as well. That's fine. We want to bring in another wide receiver. Defense wants to bring in another D-back. That was fine. Umpire held over the ball. Everybody said, everybody good. He drops off. But to put a daggum another responsibility on the officials and sit here and have to wait on 10 seconds to run a play, I just think it's not right. I don't think the fans are going to like it. I know the players aren't going to like it. And I just don't think it's right. And I think the whole thing is just not right in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But you came and asked me about it. That's what I'm going to tell you. This is how we're going to play football at Delta State. If they change the rules, we're going to adapt and we're going to adjust because that's what coaches do. That's what we're supposed to do. But I just don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair to sit here and say, well, we want to make this change for the safety. Well, show me the safety. Show me the facts that it's going to be safer. I don't see how it is. You've got the same chances to get your team in shape as we have to get our team in shape. We're just playing ours into shape. That's the whole difference to me.
I think, everyone talks about how rule changes recently are all supposed to be affecting the offense. Talk about, there is restrictions offensively, what you can do in plays.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, there's certain things you can't do, and some rules have been great. You can't crack from outside in anymore. I think that's a great, you can't cut from outside in. I think that's a great rule. You got to cut straight up, but what I don't understand is when Bear Bryant, when all these guys were running the wishbone and it was taking over football, people didn't want to change and say, well, no, what's next? What is the next step? You got to walk out with 4 formations and, hey, we're only going to be in these 4 today to help the defense out? I don't get it. I don't understand that. This is the way the game is played now. You have got to adjust to that and go figure it out. Let me give you don't have to sub every time somebody subs. Get your best 11 on the field and coach them up and let them play defense. That would help. But I think there's been as many rules to hurt offenses as there has too. You can't cut as much. You can't do those things. And those things are safety issues. And I understand those. I'm not upset about those. I love the targeting. I was totally against that. I thought it was going to take. But you know what? Hey, I got to give the NCAA props. That was a great rule change. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that in our conference. Not one time in our games that we played in the Gulf South was a young man ejected either side of the ball. And I thought our referees, I thought the coaches in our conference did a great job of coaching it up. But at the end of the day, this rule right here directly affects the way the game is being played. And it's for no reason. It's just for no reason other than the fact that some people don't think the game should be played with tempo. Well, that's not your decision to make. Coach your team. If you don't want to go tempo, don't go tempo. But when the other team goes tempo, stop them. If we get stopped, we get stoned, we go 3 and out, guess what? You're a huddle team, you got a bigger advantage. Because now our defense is more tired when they go on the field because we went 3 and out quicker. Stop us. I'm not ever going to gripe about that, ever. I'm just saying that you got guidelines. Every year it seems like in college football, we're trying to reinvent the wheel. And it's not, in this instance, it's not for the integrity and the betterment of the overall game. It's to hurt offensive football, and it's to stop guys that have been innovative in what they do. It's my opinion.
All right. Talk about the risk part. You kind of touched on it there of being a tempo team.
Yeah, you got risk because you can go 3 and out real quickly. You can go 3 and out very quickly. You go 3 and out a couple times, and all of a sudden the other offense on the other side is driving the ball down your throat. Your defense has been out there a long time. We address that with our players from day one. We address that with our defensive guys. We say, hey, you're going to get put in some bad situations because we're aggressive and we're fast on offense. But the way we practice against our defense, we also know that when a team comes out or they're coming out of the huddle or they're coming up to the line and they're looking to the sideline and they're checking, we also get an advantage because our defense doesn't feel threatened. They feel good about it. And our defense doesn't substitute very often because of what we do offensively. We don't have to waste a lot of time on that kind of stuff. We're simple. Football should be fast, it should be fun, it should be hard-nosed, and it should be simple. And we're trying to reinvent the wheel and control everything we can control as coaches instead of just being innovative and going out and using our resources and time and money to figure out how to stop these things to get our individual programs better. Not, well, I'm going to get on this committee, I'm going to put an end to this stuff. That's what I think's happened. And hey, I might get in trouble for saying something. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah, how much do you think of what happened in the state of Alabama has to do with
I think a ton of it. I think a ton of it does. Let's just not walk around it. You got 2 coaches. Everybody knows that Nick Saban, who's arguably the greatest college coach in the world right now, that's great. But he's against this. He is. Okay? Brett Bielema from Arkansas, he's totally against this. Well, there's a lot of other coaches that aren't. And what I don't understand is when you got guys like that have all these resources and are very, very smart, a lot smarter than I am as a coach, a lot more resources as a coach, instead of sitting there and finding ways to get this rule changed and using your power that way, why don't you go use your power to figure out a better way or scheme, like I know they will, to get those things stopped? That's all I'm saying. That's the difference. The game is a good game. Let's quit messing with it and tinkering with it. Every time we turn around, we got to adjust to something else. How about we give this stand over the ball of the umpire one more year to see how it works? I promise you, people are going to catch up, just like they caught up to the wishbone offense. Now people can stop the triple option at times. And that's a violent offense. People stop it because people have gotten adjusted to it. And I think that's where we're missing the boat as a coaching, as our coaching fraternity, we're missing the boat sometimes.
What's more hazardous for a player's health, getting them with the ball out in space or running them up into the line?
I would say running up in the line, but in today's game of college football, you got to be able to tackle in space. Everybody knows that, And that's the way the game's been played, because if you can't get the biggest, baddest guys inside, the best guys inside, you've got to give your team a chance to compete, okay? And that's our mentality is here. That's the way we want to play anyway. We want to recruit athletes. We want to get good linemen. We want to be able to run the ball inside, but we want to play out there and we want to play fast because we don't like wasting time doing anything. We don't like wasting time in the weight room, in position meetings. We want to do everything we can fast. I think it starts from the top. And I think when you do that, you can get these guys in shape to play against it or with it. And I think that's how you beat it. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not about player safety. This is about guys wanting to give defense back an advantage. That's what it's about. Let's call it what it is. Because there isn't, where's the statistics medically that this is safer? I haven't seen them. If they produce a report, I'd like to know who did the report and when it was done. When it was done. So, you know, like I said, I'm just a ball coach that I believe in what I believe in, and I believe in doing things the right way. I mean, if you really want to talk about gaining an advantage in the rules of college football, let's talk about the offenses running guys down the field and still throwing the ball downfield on run plays. Let's talk about things that are actually illegal by the rules of football, if we're going to talk about that. We're talking about a play clock that when everybody went to said it was going to be just like the NFL, blah, 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 blah. It's going to streamline everything. College coaches have been innovative and said, that play clock, we don't have a microphone in the quarterback's ear like the NFL does. We've got to be able to signal and go fast because those plays come quick with that play clock. So we're going to get them out fast. And we're going to find ways to simplify what we do and go as fast as humanly possible. What's wrong with that? That's coaching. That's innovation. Okay? When it's going, it's the prettiest thing, in my opinion, in the world. When it's not, it's ugly. You get beat. That happens. That's football. They got great coaches. We got great coaches. That happens. But we're trying to take that. They were trying to take that away with a rule change. So now the games are not being played on the field. They're being played in some office up in Indianapolis in meetings or some boardroom. And that's not where the game's supposed to be played. It's supposed to be played on the field. Let us play the game on the field.
You mentioned it, kind of like the natural evolution of the game. Is that something as a coach that you like and you look forward to it?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. The option's going to come. The option's already come back. It's just now in the gun. I mean, it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Everything comes in cycles, and it's great, and it's good to try to stay ahead of the curve. And I love talking with coaches. I love studying other guys offensively and defensively, things they're doing, teaching techniques, and that's part of being a coach. And that part of the game is awesome. And when you're a head coach at this level, you don't get to do that as much, and I miss that. As far when I was a coordinator, I missed that part of it. But I love, what we get to do every day and impact these guys' lives. But what are we trying to teach our players? We're trying to teach our players that when things get tough, you got to get tougher. No, when things get tough, we're going to go try to change the rule to make it easier on you. It's not helping you. It's not helping us. It's not helping us as coaches in our mission. That's not what it's about. In my opinion, I think we're all missing the boat. We are trying to get better as coaches. We are trying to make our players better at all times. When we talk about this great game of college football, there's not one better. There's not. How do we keep rules, the integrity of the game, but not try to change them to our advantage? We're trying to change this one to some people's advantage, and I don't like it.
What's the conversation's been like in-house?
Not good.
Out on your phone, in your own head?
Not good. I mean, I didn't sleep at all hardly last night when this stuff kind of really surfaced, because I've been so hard in recruiting and worried about us all season. It's not been good. But like I said, whatever happens, we're going to play football at Delta State next year. And if the rule changes, which is going to hurt the game of football, in my opinion, we're going to adapt to that rule because that's what we do here. We try to be innovative, and we'll just figure out the next way that's going to help us best score points and keep attacking and doing the things that we want to do. And we're coaching the best, in my opinion, best Division II conference in America. We got great coaches against us, and they're going to be geared up for us. And they're not going to feel sorry for us if they change the time rules. I can promise you. So we're going to keep playing football, but it hadn't been good. We're upset about it because it's what we do, and that's our identity, and that's what we don't want to change. We know that you have dangers with doing this, and we know that there's advantages. And we think the advantages far outweigh the dangers, and it fits us. Does it fit the University of Alabama? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, who can argue with their success? But I do know that I just know that you got to do what's right by the game of football. by the game of football for the fans and for the players. Young men came to play the game. They did not come to line up at the line of scrimmage and wait to play the game. Period.
You angered by, misrepresentation of you and a lot of your constituents by the coaches that were in the room?
I am. I mean, I'm not worried about saying it that I am because I don't feel like it's a fair representation. I don't feel like, not that. I mean, I've been a first-year head coach. Whatever. Nobody's going to call me. That's fine. But I've coached college football for 17 years now, and I've seen a lot of things at different levels of college football, and I know that, we didn't have a voice. The people that are doing the things that we're doing did not have a voice in that room, and that's not right.